Hey guys, welcome to today's reading. This one is all about changes happening for you. So what is changing in your life and your energy? We're going to get into all of it. And today we have a selection of cards for you to choose from. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. And basically you're going to see which of these cards is sticking out to you, calling your name, drawing your attention in towards it. And then as soon as you make up your mind, just scroll down to the timestamps in the comments in the description and jump right into your pile. By the way, if you like how I read tarot and you want to see more of it, you should definitely head to my Patreon to watch all my additional readings. I just posted a reading all about your biggest regrets when you die. That was the winner in this poll we did. It ended up being really deep and kind of emotional and uplifting, but there are a ton of additional readings over there. I just posted one all about what you're manifesting, as well as how to improve your love life and get a boyfriend, also a career reading, a money reading, and then lots of love readings. But there are over 80 exclusive readings you'll only get access to when you sign up for Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So if all that sounds good to you and you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Whether you want a live session or a pre-recorded reading, whether you want a half-hour quick reading or a full long-term 1-hour session, either one works, and you can really choose what we get into, what we talk about, how you want your session to go. So if you're interested in booking that slot with me, like I said, head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Now, if you need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to rewind, pause, and take as much time as you need, but we're going to go ahead and jump into pile one. Hey pile one, welcome to your reading. So if you guys picked this Cosmic Womb, the Divine Feminine card, this is going to be your reading. So let's get into your other cards as well. You guys also got the Three of Cups, the Seven of Wands, the Ten of Cups, and the Fool card. So this could be an ending to a really difficult cycle or a toxic cycle. I feel like for a lot of you guys, this is reaching emotional equilibrium. So if your emotions have been all over the place, or you guys have had a hard time kind of self-regulating, maybe you've been feeling depressed, maybe you've had some kind of like bad attachment style in love, like anxious attachment, avoidant attachment, maybe relationships have been really difficult for you, or you have felt like you just couldn't open up as much or something like that. I feel like that cycle is ending. I do feel like you guys are going to be healing from some kind of trauma, or some kind of like maybe someone's been depressed or dealing with emotional issues, and now you are coming out of this fog and you are able to, I think, be more honest in your relationships, communicate more, and be a lot more open and find community. This could also be finding friendships for some of you guys with the Three of Cups. For others of you with the Ten of Cups, it could have to do with your family. So I feel like in general, relationships for you are just going to get a lot better. And maybe for some of you guys, if you have been in hermit mode or you've just been very much doing your own thing, this could be about understanding and appreciating how much others can bring to our lives, how much we can benefit from opening our heart up and feeling that energy of being around other people, of having relationships, of having that closeness, how much that can add to our lives, and feeling that sense of contentment. I almost feel like it's interesting you guys picked the Cosmic Womb Divine Feminine card, because it's almost like you're relaxing more into your feminine energy. Maybe you've been in fighter mode with that Seven of Wands energy for a really long time. Maybe you felt like you always had to fight and work and push yourself, and you know, nothing was easy and life is just this struggle. And now it's like, oh, this is what it feels like to kind of rest and relax and have a good time and have an easy time. I also feel like you are really ending, like I said, an old cycle of your life. Maybe for some of you guys, I'm seeing Pluto highlighted. This could have to do with Pluto's transit into Aquarius. You could see where that is in your charts. But I feel like how that's affecting you guys is maybe making you realize the importance of friendship, community, because of course Aquarius rules the 11th house of friendship, and Aquarius is all about large groups, large social groups. So maybe this is a collective energy affecting everyone, making us all realize how, we're not islands. We're not just meant to be completely by ourselves and doing our own thing, but it can be so nice to open up and to relax into the energy of another person. But I feel like for a lot of you guys, this has to do with really clearing space in your life and making socializing or making other people a priority and really enjoying that. And almost as well, realizing that you're capable of more than you realized. Maybe in the past you thought things about yourself like, oh, I'll always be alone because I just am super independent, or, I'm probably never going to find anyone who lives up to my standards, or, it's fine. I don't mind living by myself and I prefer it that way. And then you kind of meet someone and realize that maybe that's not true, or maybe it can be kind of nice to live with someone, or maybe I don't need to be so closed off. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, this could be a really, really healing energy where your relationships deepen a lot. And in general, like trauma, anxiety, any emotional issues starting to go away a little bit. I know those things are obviously tricky, and of course, trauma can last a long time, but I just feel like there's major healing energy flowing through you, and almost like your horizons broadening or different options becoming available to you that maybe were never available to you in the past. Maybe you had this image of yourself that maybe you thought it was true, but it was actually very self-limiting. And maybe that image you had about who you were was kind of like built out of trauma, or built out of a scarcity mindset, built out of thinking I could never have that anyway, so I'm not going to dream about it or say that I want it. And now that you realize that maybe it is a possibility, it's like, oh, that actually is kind of cool, or I wanted this the whole time, or I was really missing this in my life and I feel so fulfilled now. So I feel like a lot of you guys, you must have been doing a lot of trauma work, shadow work, working through your issues. And this is kind of that reward that happens at the end of a shadow work cycle. Often it has to do with like Saturn transits as well, because no one will highlight all your issues and problems like Saturn will. And as painful as it is to have that brought up and to realize like, wow, I'm really messed up and I need to fix this about myself, there's so much reward at the end of it, and so much of that satisfaction of like, I'm so glad I did that work. I'm so glad I was willing to push through it. I'm so glad I didn't chicken out or say this is too hard, or just take the easy way out and go with what I was used to. I'm so glad I pushed myself. And I feel like that's what a lot of you guys have done and are continuing to do. So let's get some more cards for pile number 1. So we want to know what is changing for pile 1's life. What is changing for pile number 1's life? Answers, okay. Okay, we got 2 cards flying out. Willpower, boundaries, protection. Yeah, this could also have to do with like actually putting up boundaries on some people, because sometimes you kind of have to like demo the old life in order to step into the new life. You kind of have to get rid of like the toxic influences or people in your life that were holding you back, or people in your life that were treating you really badly. It's kind of like you have to, if you have a house that's like rotten, broken foundation, horrible wiring and all that, it's probably better just to like demo the whole thing, just knock it to the ground and rebuild from the ground up. Could you just keep the same house, but keep the old wiring, keep the old foundation and pay to fix it? Yeah, you could, but it may just be better sometimes just to get rid of the old. So for some of you guys, this could be putting up more boundaries than you have in the past. But I feel like for the majority of you guys, it's almost like some of your boundaries have maybe held you back at times. Maybe some of your boundaries have actually limited you in the same way that like I'm seeing like a walled city, like the city of Lucca in Italy, where there's a really huge wall around it. And yes, it protects people, but also it keeps you in, it keeps you limited. You know, it prevents new people from coming in. And I feel like for some of you guys, you have had such strong boundaries up that sometimes you end up limiting yourself, or you don't end up seeing that possibility of everything that could play out and everything that could be. I feel like in a way, I could see a great first step towards this change that's already happening in your life as making a list of things you would want to see for yourself, making a list of like, you know, the things you really want, or the things maybe you're even like too embarrassed or ashamed to ask or to say you want. Maybe there are things that deep down inside you want to have, but you've never been willing to admit that to anyone else, or you have a lot of shame in yourself and you just think that's kind of like off limits. I feel like for some of you guys, this is even changing your self-image, realizing how special, valuable, and important you are, and realizing that you do deserve this deep level of happiness. And you don't deserve to be sitting on the sidelines, or there's not like, oh, that person's able to get a blessing, but I don't deserve it. The universe has endless abundance for all of us. So if there's something you want, I feel like this is your time when you are going to be admitting that to yourself and really stepping towards that. And I think this thing, you need to know, the message I'm getting for you really strongly is that this thing wants you to, whatever it is, whether you want a job, whether a relationship, which I definitely am getting relationship vibes with all these cups cards for most of you. But whatever it is you want, this thing wants you to so badly, even if it is a relationship. Maybe you feel very unlovable. Maybe you always thought no one could ever really love me. If they saw my flaws, they would leave me. But you don't realize that there's someone out there who's going to be like so excited to be with you and feel so lucky to be around you, pile one. So maybe it's just realizing that and being willing to step into that energy of realizing what you bring to the table and realizing how special you are. So you're not going to be hiding anymore. You're not going to be afraid or thinking that I have to protect myself, I have to push everyone away, but you're going to be willing to allow things to flow in. Like I said, if you're in a walled city or like you have a big wall around you, yes, you're protected, but also no one can come in. And this is like throwing open those gates and like allowing things to happen for yourself, allowing yourself to experience these things that I think you really do want deep down inside. I also feel like I'm hearing this is your era of fun and that you deserve it. It is well deserved. It has been a long time coming. A lot of you guys, like I said, you have been doing the shadow work. You have been pushing yourself. You have been committing to this process. And so I feel like in the near future, you're going to start to see those rewards. And I feel like what you need to know is, because there's so many of you guys that are so beautifully humble and sweet and kind, and it's almost like you would give the shirt off your back to someone else, or you would say a million times over like, no, they deserve that blessing, or I'm so happy for them to have that, but me, no. Like deep down inside, it's almost giving like forgotten middle child, you know what I mean, vibes, or you know, some kid that in their family is the most overlooked or the scapegoat or something, or a forgotten like only child whose parents are always busy. But there's a vibe of like no one really, like I don't deserve this, other people deserve this stuff, I'm happy for them, I'll cheer it on for them, but for me, no, it would never happen for me. And I think you're really learning to kind of unpack that and to see yourself a lot more accurately and to realize that you do deserve all the beautiful things in life. It's not like some people are allowed to have a beautiful marriage, money, whatever, and you are somehow exempt from that. I feel like this is kind of about putting yourself center stage and allowing yourself to truly experience that deep level of joy and to have as much fun and relish it as much as possible. So for some of you guys, this could even be some major beautiful life event like a wedding or having a kid or falling in love. And I feel like if that's the case, if that has already happened to you, because I feel like for some of you guys, maybe you're already in this energy, the message you need to hear is to really relish that and savor it and not to worry too much or get in your head and start allowing your negative thought patterns to run away from you, but to really savor it and enjoy every moment and know how much you do deserve it. Know how much this is yours. It's been a long time coming. You absolutely do deserve it. And yeah, so have fun with it, pile number one. Let's get into some of these cards for pile number one. What changes are happening for them? So we got action, all tied up, third chakra, Archangel Chamuel, and he deals with love. So again, a heavy love energy throughout this reading for you guys. And the Temple Path. And let's get one more. Goddess of the Moon. Yeah, I think for you guys, this is, there is really a heavy energy of like major change happening for you guys. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Pluto is hitting like a major planet for you, like the sun or the moon or Venus or the ascendant, or transforming some aspect of your life that is just so all encompassing. Like maybe it's hitting Venus and you always thought that you would only have dysfunctional dark relationships where you argued all the time, and this is like realizing that the kind of love you want is actually really deep and sweet and beautiful and lighthearted and not fighting or arguing or having passion, but it's dysfunctional. It's kind of like realizing something really fundamental about yourself that I think you're finally ready for it to be revealed. I'm also hearing for some of you guys, I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of fighting. So I also feel like for some of you guys, you have been running for a really long time, or you have been kind of not sabotaging yourself, but you have been trying really hard for a long time to kind of get away from yourself or distracting yourself. Sometimes I think this is why people can even fall into addiction. I'm not saying you guys are addicted to anything, but I think sometimes addictions are all about that desire to leave from the moment, leave emotions, leave the self behind, and just kind of like blot it out. And of course, it never works because you're always going to be there when you return. So even if you can find temporary relief by, drinking a bottle of vodka, or by binge eating some food and going into a food coma, or by, doing whatever, because addictions could also be something like shopping too much, working out too much. But all those things are about leaving the body, leaving the self, and kind of sublimating ourselves in something else for the moment. But we're always there when we kind of come back to ourselves. And I feel like for you guys, this is really about realizing that there was never anything wrong with you in the first place. There was never any reason why you had to leave yourself behind, because you are so perfect exactly as you are. And this is having the faith and the bravery to be willing to step forward and show yourself as you are authentically, who you are deep down, not feeling like you have to hide, not feeling like you have to put your best foot forward and disguise yourself and present a certain version of yourself, but being like, yeah, this is who I really am. That's exactly who I am, and that's that. And I feel like you'll be amazed, one, by how much people will like this about you, but also being okay with people not liking this about you. There are going to be some people that like the filtered version of you that you've adjusted and twisted yourself into a pretzel to get them to like you, to get them to see you. But the thing is, those people never saw you anyway in the first place. They never really saw you. They saw a fake version of you. And I think this is you being more okay with like the likes, the dislikes. It's almost like, I'm just going to be myself, because it's so much more exhausting to try to be something else. It's so much more exhausting to kind of fake, or to push myself, or to twist myself into a pretzel. So let me just show exactly who I am. And I feel like because of that, you're going to attract so many more authentic relationships, and the relationships you do have are going to be so much deeper. Those people are going to really have signed up for you and who you are. And they are not going to be interested in this fake pretense version of you that you're putting on a mask to get someone else to like you. They are really going to like you for who you are. So yeah, this is a really beautiful, beautiful time. And I feel like there's so much deep healing, and your relationships are the thing that I feel like you're really going to be blessed, and you're really going to see the effects of this change in. I feel like the relationships you attract now are so much deeper, and you're capable of so much more intimacy than you ever were before. You're much more capable of actually going there and actually letting someone into your heart than you were in the past. So whatever instability was happening or whatever fear was going on, it feels like you are really able to deal with that. Let me get into some of this tarot. Let's see what tarot cards we're going to get. Oh my gosh, we got the moon twice, okay? Because we got Goddess of the Moon. Let's see what other cards we're going to get. This one says the Four of Swords. And let's get a couple more. This one is the Five of Cups and the Four of Pentacles. And let me get one more. How is pile number 1 changing? The Page of Cups. So you guys also may be becoming a lot more intuitive. We got the moon coming out twice. We have a ton of cup cards, including the Page of Cups. So I do feel like you guys are going to be much more intuitive, and you're going to be able to really trust your intuition. Your psychic abilities may be really, really heightening. Your dreams may become much more prophetic and much more accurate. So they may become a lot more vivid, and you may have an easier time recalling them in the morning. I'm hearing for some of you guys, it would be a really good idea to get a dream journal or to start writing in your dream journal. I also am hearing you guys are going to get to be better communicators. You're going to be much more capable of saying how you really feel. It's almost like the time you spent in the past doing dramatics or kind of like playing any kind of games, that is not going to interest you anymore, and you're much more capable of saying exactly how you feel and exactly how you want things to be. And I feel like that really, really, really pays off well for you. There's a level of radical authenticity and honesty that I see coming to your life. You may also, some of you guys, find yourself much more capable of doing like routine, like I want to say chores or work. Like if in the past you've struggled, again, when you're struggling with your mental health, sometimes that can correlate over into your physical health or your ability to complete tasks that may seem like they have nothing to do with mental health, like, okay, filing taxes or just taking a daily shower or cleaning up your apartment or, responding promptly to like a text. Those things can seem really easy if you're in really good mental health, but if you're struggling with your mental health or you're going through depression or struggling from CPTSD or struggling from BPD or any of psychiatric whatever issues, those things can become incredibly, incredibly difficult, and you can have a really hard time even just doing the most basic thing like, oh, let me go cook myself a meal or let me go take a shower, can seem like insurmountable. And I'm not saying all of you guys have struggled with that, but I do feel like you're going to find that you're much more capable of like tackling those small things or even those big things. Like maybe in the past you had a really hard time cleaning your apartment, so you just pay for like a cleaning person. And of course, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But you may find like, I really always dreaded so much cleaning my apartment, but now I just found myself vacuuming on like Sunday morning, and I honestly think I could do this all myself. Like I'm so good at this. Or let me go ahead and take care of that issue that I've been dreading and putting off. Like maybe I have to call I don't know, some kind of company to talk about a bill, and this is something I have dreaded and dreaded and dreaded, and I keep procrastinating it, and today I'm going to call in about the bill. Or there's something I have to write, or there's there's an issue with my faucet and I technically know how to fix it, but I haven't wanted to do it because I've been feeling so stressed, and then you go ahead and you take care of it. And I feel like you are much more capable of doing that overall, pile 1. Like this aspect that you are healing in your life, it's not just going to stay limited to your emotional state and your relationships and not affect anything else. It really is going to affect absolutely everything. And I feel like you are going to find that you are so much more capable, so much more amazing at doing basic life things and also those deep life things than you ever thought was possible before. It's like you are going through a really, really deep level of healing, and that is affecting absolutely every area of your life. this could be healing from like childhood issues, childhood trauma, or some kind of anxiety disorder or depression or anything like that. Or just maybe you didn't have anything like that, but this is just really learning to step into that energy of truly knowing what you deserve and truly stepping out of that energy where you would put yourself in second place or prioritize others before you and be willing to tolerate bad behavior or not such great treatment. I really feel like you are getting so clear on what you want, and you are much more willing to ask for it and to kind of acknowledge that, of course, I deserve it. So let me get some message cards for you. Pile number 1. What messages do we have to end this reading on for pile 1? Grounding. Go deep. Explore your roots. Gates of triumph. Success expands in your life. We got 2. This one says desert passage, trust, there's a divine plan, and taking shelter, the answers are within. I love that for you guys, especially the final one, taking shelter, the answers are within, because I feel like that's what you're really realizing is that, like I said, you had all the gifts within you the whole time. It's kind of like how in the book The Alchemist, he is given these like little stones that he can use to make decisions, but they tell him basically they don't want you to use these stones. They want you to make the decisions on your own. And by the end of the trip, he realizes he had everything. By the end of the book, he realizes he had everything he needed the whole time. Like all of the answers were within him. And I feel like that's what you're realizing about yourself. It's like, I don't need to rely on others. I don't need to do anything else. I'm good enough as I already am. I don't need to try to do a song and dance to make people think I'm cool. I don't need to be the best version of myself in terms of like caking on makeup. Although I know some people use makeup as like an artistic endeavor, but if it's coming from a place of insecurity, if you're feeling like I'm not good enough as I am, if you feel like you have to have a certain job flex or a friend group, or you feel like, you know, if someone saw the real you, they wouldn't actually like you. I feel like all of those limiting beliefs are really going out the window, and you are becoming the best, deepest version of yourself than you have been in the past. So yeah, for this process, since you guys are going through so much transformation, you may find it really helpful to ground, to go out in nature and like hug a tree or just put your feet in the dirt and just allow that positive energy to come from the earth into your body. But I really do feel like you guys you're kind of like out of that harder part of this journey. Like you are, it's like with this desert passage thing, like it's like, there's so many stories of people in the Bible or in other, just The Alchemist, for example, has a scene set in the desert because that is so archetypal, right? The journey through the desert and kind of how perilous it is and how sacred it is and how you really have to trust that plan. But of course, there's a point in every journey through the desert where they hit an oasis and suddenly things become easier. And suddenly, you know, they go from having to ration all the water and all the food, and it's very life and death, to having more of an abundance of things and to be able to relax a little bit more. And I really do feel like that's what's happening for you. It's like the hardest part of the journey, I do feel like, is over, and you guys are ready now to transition into more of a beautiful, easier time, knowing what you want and getting to see those things start to pay off. So that is what I have for you, pile 1. I really hope it resonates. If it does, let me know down in the comments. I always love hearing from you guys. Also, make sure to give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button, and subscribe. And if you want to see more of my content, head on over to my Patreon. I just posted a reading all about your biggest regrets when you die. That one was voted for in a poll by my Patreons, but there is so much content over there to choose from. Over 80 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon. The one before that is all about what you're manifesting. There's also one about how to fix your love life and get a boyfriend, and one about your career, money, lots of love readings. There are over 80 exclusive readings you'll only get access to on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So if all that sounds good to you and you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments, in the description, and join me on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and you can sign up for a half-hour session with me or a full full hour-long session, get a pre-recorded reading, get a live session. You get to really choose how the readings go. So if all that sounds good to you and you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me on Patreon. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey Pile 2, welcome to your reading. So if you guys picked this Empty Well card, this is going to be your reading. Well, let's get into the other tarot as well. So you guys also got the Ace of Pentacles, the High Priest, the Tower card, and the Lord, aka the Emperor. So for a lot of you guys, with this Ace of Pentacles leading off the reading, this could be a new financial opportunity, a new job, a new business idea, a new side hustle. This has the potential to be something that's really long lasting. It could be very financially lucrative. It could be an idea of something like, let me go ahead and write this book, but it would be very much rooted in reality, not necessarily a new relationship or a short-lived kind of a fling or anything like that, but it would be something that has a lot of longevity, a lot of long-term potential, and would probably affect like your day-to-day life, day-to-day reality. So it could even be, I'm seeing for some of you guys, like a new routine, like fixing your schedule somehow, maybe even fixing your sleep schedule if that is kind of messed up, or coming up with like a morning routine where, you know, you wake up, you make matcha, you go to the gym, and then you head into work or you journal or whatever. But I feel like whatever this is, it's almost like going to make you become the most streamlined, efficient, best version of yourself, especially if things have been a little chaotic or there are certain goals you've wanted to achieve. I feel like you're going to get a much better vision and idea of how to go about that. And like I said, it may have to do with your schedule. It may have an idea of, it may be an idea of, let me wake up early in the morning or let me sleep in a little bit later, but kind of like how you're spending your time. I feel like that's a major thing you guys are going to be thinking of. And I'm also seeing you guys make changes corresponding with that, almost like, I don't know, maybe I love to go to this certain gym every day, but it takes me like 45 minutes in traffic, so I'm going to find an apartment that is closer to the gym. Or I love to go for a morning walk along the water, but I live far away. I live on the other side of town, so I'm going to move to this nearby, this lake or river or by the beach, whatever it is, so that I can go for my morning walk. Or I really care about eating organic. I always go to the farmer's market, but it's a little bit of a drive, and so I'm going to pick somewhere closer to the farmer's market or something like that. Or I'm going to go ahead and invest in that Vitamix blender so that I can make like the best, smoothest smoothies that anyone's ever had. And it's almost like once you make that fix or that change or that switch, then whatever you're trying to do becomes second nature. So if you're trying to eat healthier, then it's like, oh, I'll just wake up in the morning and have my smoothie, and I can just whip it together in 5 seconds because the blender is really fast and it's really easy, and now I have my frozen veggies and blah blah blah. Like, I feel like there's some kind of a change where you are thinking about your routine, about your schedule, and whatever you're doing is making you become so much more efficient and much more of a powerhouse. We also got the Hierophant, aka the High Priest, in this deck, as well as the Lord, which is the Emperor in the regular tarot. So I feel like for you guys, this is really about also entering into a position of status or becoming, like I said, the best version of yourself, almost like filling your potential. You know how sometimes maybe you're like, I know I'm capable of that, but there's this standing in the way, or I'm used to doing things this way, or yeah, that would be a lot of work, or I could do that, but blah, blah, blah. And I feel like it's like clearing those roadblocks and just stepping into like, who am I really, and what can I do to be better at this? And let me not make any more excuses. Let me go ahead and do everything I need to do. And so that also may be becoming clear to you, because sometimes it's not that we're not wanting to do the work, it's that we really don't know what is expected of us. Like, how am I supposed to get this done? Or how am I supposed to get from point A to point B? Like sometimes we want to make more money, and that's where the Ace of Pentacles can come in. We want to earn more, we want to have a better financial situation, but it's hard to even realize how that could happen. Like maybe I already have a packed schedule. How am I supposed to add on more? Or I already have this job. How could I make more on the side? And I feel like there's going to be something like that that becomes very clear to you, and you get that insight about things you need to fix or things you need to change. I'm also seeing for some of you guys who picked this pile, a change in a move that you want to make. So maybe deciding to move and live somewhere else or change your living situation. I am hearing for some of you guys who may be in like really committed relationships, there could be a move in with a partner, but obviously that's not going to apply to everyone. But I feel like whatever you do, what is really coming through clearly is you're also not compromising as much. Not in a bad, selfish way of like you're not being kind and nice to others, but I feel like you used to compromise yourself, or like if you were out of time or you were rushing around in the morning and you didn't have time to do something, you might just be like, oh, whatever. I really wanted to work out today, but I don't have time, so that's fine. And now it's like, I don't have time. Well, let me make time, or let me call that person and tell them like I can't meet them for brunch because I didn't get my workout in and it's really important to me, and maybe we can reschedule. But it's almost like you're no longer putting your own priorities on the back burner, and I feel like you're getting really clear and almost like a little more selfish about what you want. So like I said, if you wanted to earn more money, maybe you kind of thought about doing something or thought about starting a business, but then a part of you would be like, that'd be kind of selfish, or, well, I'm already making enough and I don't want to be greedy. And now it's like, no, I want more money, and that's what I want, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm also seeing for some of you guys in this pile, this could even be like dating someone new or being in a new relationship. And I feel like if you do enter into a new relationship, it would be with someone that really puts you up on a pedestal or treats you super well. It's almost like if in the past you've tolerated someone who is disrespectful or immature or slightly selfish with you, or didn't really treat you with all the respect you deserve, I feel like now this is being in a relationship with someone that like worships the ground you walk on, or is willing to do whatever for you, obviously in a healthy dynamic, not in an unhealthy way, but someone that is just like very easy to deal with and prioritizes you and puts you first. Or this could even be like a single era if you have been in those toxic relationships, maybe kind of resetting your own like what you want in your own idea of relationships and your own idea of what you will tolerate in relationships. So maybe even being single for a little bit and like going out, dating, having fun with it. But I feel like it's like you really are stepping into your power, and you're no longer letting people push you around or make you compromise things that feel out of alignment with yourself. So if in the past you kind of put others before you, I feel like that is definitely ending. And you also may be learning to trust your intuition more, because the Hierophant is also highly spiritual. It's the male counterpart to the High Priestess, which is why it's called the High Priest in this deck. And so yeah, I feel like for a lot of you guys, you're going to learn to trust your intuition the first time and really listen to what your inner voice is telling you, instead of second guessing, or instead of trying to make a situation seem better than it is, or pretend like something that's happening is okay when you know it's not. You're definitely kind of just going to admit to yourself what you want early on and be okay with like whatever might happen from that. And that's what I'm seeing with the Tower as well, is like, the Tower is willing to burn down anything that's standing in its way. Anything that's standing in the way of deep soul growth, the Tower card is going to destroy. And so I feel like for you, this is just the energy of like, I know what direction I want to be heading. I know what I want in my life. And if you can't bring that to me, then goodbye. So yeah, there's a lot more power coming through, first and foremost. Let's get into some more cards for pile number 2. What is changing in pile number 2's life? We got fertility, okay. New beginnings, truth, lighten your load. This one says confidence, and let's get one final card. Manifestation. Wow. So you guys are really learning your own personal power. I'm also seeing, again, if you guys make a move, this could be a move that really is like across states or to a different country or something that really takes you out of what you've already known. This could also be you changing your like online persona. Like if in the past, maybe you would get afraid to post on social media, or you would get super nervous about what you would post and want to make sure it was all filtered and edited and everything was, perfect. And now I feel like you're becoming a lot more careless about it, but in a good way. Like instead of overthinking and worrying that things might not look right or feeling like you have to have everything exactly how it's supposed to be to represent a certain image. I feel like now you are much more okay with being misunderstood, even like being unpopular. Because I also feel like there's a vibe coming through with some of you guys where with your manifestations in the past, there was like this inner sense of, I don't really deserve this, or if I get this, people are going to be jealous, or if I do this, what are people going to say? And it's almost like it seeped deep down into your soul, this idea that if you got too big for your britches, or if you got too much attention, or if you really celebrated yourself, that you would have haters and like ops in your, maybe watching your Instagram or watching your TikTok or your Snapchat, or maybe even if you're if you're doing like YouTube, maybe that holds you back from really going full force into it, because deep down it's like, oh, but if I get big, what are my hometown friends gonna say, or what are people gonna think, or if I become like a really top huge YouTuber, then people are gonna talk and they're gonna make fun of it. And it's like, I think you guys are almost like accepting that, and it's not bothering you as much. I feel like now you know more of what you want, and if something is in alignment with what you want, you're going to go for it. And if something isn't, you're not going to worry about it. You're not going to twist yourself into a pretzel or do something just because others expect that of you. So you're stepping into an energy that's a lot more authentic from you. And I do feel like that is something that people can really tell about you. They can sense this. They can feel the confidence. They can tell that you are no longer like desperate for the breadcrumbs of someone else's approval. If it doesn't align with you, then it doesn't align with you. If they don't like you, then they don't like you. And I feel like you're much more capable to share your truth or to do that thing that in the past, maybe you really wanted to do it, but you would worry. Or maybe this is like a book you've always wanted to write, but it's kind of like a scandalous romance novel or something. Or it's like a really crazy sci-fi idea. And you're like, oh, but if my hometown friends, if the kids from my like high school knew that I was writing this like steamy romance novel or this crazy science fiction nerdy book or whatever, then they would like laugh at me, so I'm not going to do it. And deep down inside, this would sabotage your efforts. And I feel like you're really realizing that the only way you can even accomplish or achieve anything worthwhile in life is to be willing to be that unpopular person. It's like if you think of even the biggest YouTubers, almost all of them had to start posting embarrassing stuff, no one watching. Early videos probably pretty bad because, they don't have an editor at that point. They don't know how to edit. They don't know, they haven't found their rhythm of like talking on camera. It's just normal to go through that period where, yeah, what you're doing looks cringe in that moment. And I'm sure if people they knew about their channel back when they had like 100 subscribers, they probably would have made fun of it and been like, oh, this is so embarrassing. Who are you even posting for? There's only 100 subscribers. And of course, that's the thing, is you have to move through that period in order to get to the big period, in order to get to the success. You have to be willing to take that risk and do something that seems cringe in the moment. Or every movie star starts with going on auditions and no one is hiring them yet, and they're a nobody and no one knows their name, and eventually they get a role. But before that point, they had to operate in that period where no one else could see the vision, and they looked like a total delusional weirdo for even believing that they could be a success. So I think you're kind of willing to now step into that and kind of take the unpopular choice, you know? It's no longer about how can I appease others and how can I make others appeal or approve of me. And now it's how can I be my most authentic self? And if they don't approve of it, I don't care at all. Let me see what other cards we're going to get for pile number 2. So what changes are happening for pile number 2? We got rest and relaxation. Okay. Angel of strength. Can't get this card. Happy family. Angel of love. And let's get one more. This one is envy. Oh yeah, I think that is the main thing that has held you back. Is maybe you guys have gone through periods where you have had people who have been envious of you in the past, and it really did a number on your psyche. I mean, whenever we are on the receiving end of envy, it can hit you like a pile of bricks. Like it really can be shocking. Like, oh my God, I'm not doing anything bad, and these people are being such haters. And it can be traumatic enough that we go out of our way in the future to like never want to attract that again, especially if it happens during childhood or the teen years or those like early years when we're more vulnerable. It can really be something that stays with us forever, this subconscious message of like, I have to keep myself small. I can't get too big. If I have a beautiful, happy family and I'm in love and I have all this beautiful stuff going on in my life, people are going to see that and they're going to want to take it away from me. So I'm not going to give them things to be jealous of. I'm not going to give them a reason to hate on me. But the reality is your energy will shine through regardless. You can either be hated on by random strangers who can just sense that you have this beautiful, powerful energy about you. And you could just be walking into a gas station. Like, I'm sure we've all had experiences like that, right? Where we're just minding our business, going to a gas station, going to pick up lunch or something, and we just get like a bunch of haterade from the clerk or from the lady at the front desk at the restaurant, like the hostess or whoever. And we're like, I know I didn't say anything to them. I know I didn't do anything, but I can feel this negative energy. And part of it is realizing that that is just a reality and a fact of life. It has more to do with the other person and their limited mindset, thinking that there's not enough for everyone, than it does to do with us. So knowing that it's inevitable, we're going to get that. Knowing that, yeah, we're going to face that hate from others. Yeah, we're going to get those ops that just don't want to see us have anything good in life, but we should never, ever, ever try to appease them. It's almost like how a lot of companies or countries have these policies about not negotiating with people who try to hold them ransom or people who try to like, you know, extort money from them somehow. They just will not negotiate. Even if it's like the most crazy situation and it's life and death, they refuse to negotiate because they know that the more they say yes and they'll be like, okay, I'll pay for you to save this person's life or whatever, that it's just a matter of time before another demand comes in. And the more people start to realize, oh, this company is willing to like compromise and negotiate and they're willing to send money, the more that kind of thing is going to happen to them, and they're going to have to face these ransom demands and these crazy violent events. And so that's why they have that as a policy, is basically like they know that by doing that, it would actually encourage it to happen more. And so, you know, you kind of have to have that hard line too with people who envy you or people who are nasty to you or people who want what you have. You have to have that strong energy of like, okay, I don't care what you think, and I'm not even going to give this any of my mental effort. I'm not going to give it my mental energy. I'm not going to play into it. Hate all you want, but I'm going to stay in my happy little bubble. I'm going to stay in my safety zone. I'm going to stay positive and just kind of in that relaxed, beautiful, restful energy. And focusing on myself and focusing on the love I feel, the joy I feel, the goodness of what I have in my life, instead of worrying about what you think. Let me get some tarot for pile number 2. Just going to shuffle over here. So we got the Ace of Wands, The Ace of Pentacles. Wow, lots of aces for you guys. Double Ace of Pentacles. And let's get one more, the Hermit, and that did come out reversed. So maybe this is ending Hermit mode, but it could also be that energy of the Hermit where the Hermit is very aware of how other people can be dysfunctional, and that's why the Hermit chooses to isolate. And sometimes that's what we have to do. Like if we have something we're really happy with our life about, like we're in a beautiful new relationship and we just feel super excited about it. Or we have a new job that we absolutely love and we know we have a friend that's kind of a hater and they'll always, you know, have something nasty to say. It's okay to kind of like isolate ourselves from that and just not really play into it. It's okay to hide something away. And also it's okay not to feel like we have to hide it away, to be willing to share it with the world, but also like not give it mental thought. Like when the hate comes, okay, whatever. I'm not even going to like stress about this. Like, yeah, the hate may come, but whatever is for you will always be for you. And that's why I said, like, the thing is that sometimes I think people think like, well, if I put myself out there, I'm going to get hate. Like maybe there's a beautiful girl and she kind of wants to start a TikTok account or she wants to start modeling or something like that, but she gets a bunch of hate from like random classmates in school. So she kind of shelves that dream away and she just decides to go into a normal office job. I guarantee you that girl is going to get just as much hate from her random coworkers that are bitter and crusty that this gorgeous model looking girl is now working in like 2 cubicles away. And they're going to be like, WTF, why is she even working here? She looks like she could be a supermodel. And now I have to compete with her when I am, you know, have been at this job for 30 years and I don't look anything like that. And like, this is so unfair. So my point is that that girl can choose to like live up to her highest potential, go out and really take on that job and go after her dreams, or she can shelve them and tell herself, well, let me keep myself small, and then just get hated on and get that same exact energy, but from, instead of like getting it on a widespread level of what can happen with fame and the negativity from that, or getting it from other models, now she's getting it from like Phyllis in accounting. But it's the same energy, you know what I mean? Because that's the thing, we can't control other people's energy. All we can do is control our own boundaries and what we allow access to and what we allow our thoughts to play into. If we can be in that Queen of Pentacles energy, if we can really stay sure of who we are, our energy, and we don't let other people intrude on it, then nothing can be touched. I love that quote from All Night by Beyonce, and I've just heard it in my mind so loud. Nothing real can be threatened. I don't know if that's her original quote or it's a widespread quote because I've seen it on a couple oracle cards, but I love that line. And it's really true. Like if it's for you, it's going to work out for you. If it's meant to be yours, then the only person that can sabotage it is you. They can't do anything about it with their energy, because when you stay truly aligned and you truly know it's for you and you truly stay in that place of peace and calm and claiming it as yours, trust me, nothing can get in the way. Let's get some more oracle cards, some messages for you. Pile number 2. What messages do we have? So we got staying focused, hold the course. I love that for you. Transformation, a fresh new way of living emerges. Okay. And I just need a couple more cards for pile number 2. In the flow, everything is smooth sailing, and joy and delight. Open your heart to joy. And that's really what happens when you stop even stressing about the haters or about other people's reactions. They can have whatever reaction they have. They can be happy for you. They can be mad about it. They can be joyful. They can be upset. But when you keep your energy truly aligned and you keep your eyes on the prize, then that's all that matters. When you can, whatever it is, whether it's like a job, whether it's a relationship, if you're truly focused on that, if you're truly tuned in to like the other person in the relationship or to the job you want, the thing you're trying to manifest financially or career-wise, nothing can get in the way of that. And that's why we don't even need to worry about holding ourselves back. So yeah, I think what's changing for you guys is like there's this new willingness to claim it. There's this boldness coming from you and this lack of fear. I feel like in the past, you really did let other people's opinions get in the way of what you wanted for you. And that is over and ending and done. Now it's about what you want. And if someone has an opinion about it, good or bad, I don't think you're letting that get inside your head anymore. So this is a beautiful new change for you, pile number 2, and I am so excited for you guys to step into your power in this way. So let me know how this reading resonated for you. Drop it down in the comments below. I always love reading them and hearing what you guys think or have to say. Also, make sure to give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button, and subscribe. And if you want to see more of my content, head on over to my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. I just posted a reading all about your biggest regrets when you die. So that ended up being a really deep and actually weirdly uplifting reading. It was suggested or voted as the #1 thing you guys wanted to see in my poll over on Patreon. But there are a ton of other readings over there as well. I just posted one all about what you're manifesting and also how to improve your love life and get a boyfriend. And before that, I posted a career reading, a money reading, lots of love readings. There are over 80 exclusive readings you only get access to when you sign up for Patreon. And you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube readings. So if all that sounds good to you and you're interested in signing up, then head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me over on Patreon. Also, if you guys want to get a private reading with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. You can sign up for a half-hour reading or a full hour-long reading with me, and you really get to choose how the session goes, what we talk about, what we get into, whether it's pre-recorded, whether it's live. It's very interactive, so you get to choose which option, what kind of reading would suit you the absolute best. So if you're interested in that, the link is in my description, briarrosetarot.com. So yeah, go ahead and sign up if that's something you're wanting. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very soon in another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile number 3, welcome to your reading. So if you guys picked this Dances on One Foot card, this is going to be your reading. But let's get into your tarot as well. So you guys also got the 10 of Wands, the 8 of Swords, the 5 of Cups, and the Sun card. So it feels like there is going to be a major ending for you guys. And this may be something that you've been thinking about ending for a while. It may be something that has caused you a lot of exhaustion or that you have felt very confused by. I almost feel like this is something maybe you've really agonized on back and forth and really questioned, like, should I go ahead with it? Should I not? And I do feel like you may reach the conclusion that it's time to leave it behind, or that it's time to majorly tweak something so that your energy is able to flow better. Like if something is constantly depleting your energy and you just feel super exhausted with it and done with it and you don't really have any more to give, then sometimes that is your cue that it's time to leave. So whatever this is, it does feel like you're gonna get some closure on it. I also am hearing a message for some of you guys that maybe there's something you've been overthinking about, or almost like letting your anxiety or stress get the better of you. Like for some of you guys, this situation may not actually be that bad. It may be though that you've at times allowed yourself to get into a really anxious or negative headspace, almost like I was seeing something someone posted about how we never overthink something that's positive, right? Like we never start overthinking about like, oh my gosh, what if my business starts earning too much money? Or what if I just like, this is the best relationship ever and they're so in love with me, and yeah, like what if everything is great and we get married and everything's fantastic? We tend to allow our mind to run wild when it's something super negative about what if my boyfriend breaks up with me? What if my business crashes? What if all these negative things? And part of it is like realizing that we have control and that we can either give into the overthinking or we can not. And we have that choice to put our foot down with our head mentally saying, I'm not going to do this anymore. And I also feel like, you know, what is coming to my mind is the idea that Everything that is for us will always be for us, and what's not for us will never be ours. So we could even maintain a situation, we could twist ourselves into a pretzel and contort ourselves and do all this extra stuff in order to try to maintain a status quo or get a certain outcome, right? Like maybe we are in a relationship that isn't super healthy, and we can continue to push ourselves and to like do everything our partner asks of us and to do things that don't really feel in alignment with us. And that may work for a while, but like sooner or later it's going to crash and burn. Or that job we have with the toxic boss, that every time we have to turn in a project we get anxiety and we feel so stressed out about it all the time. That is probably never going to manifest into like a beautiful long career with that company under that boss. Like it's always going to have that weird feeling to it, that messed up feeling. So sometimes it's just learning not to overthink, but to really trust our energy and almost like relax a little bit, because knowing that everything is happening for our greatest and highest good is like, okay, and so what if I get fired? I will find another job and it will be amazing and I won't be so stressed out. So I don't have to go into an anxiety attack every time I turn in a document to my boss, because no matter what happens, whether the boss says, oh my gosh, I love this, you did such an amazing job, like you're promoted, or whether they say this is freaking horrible and you're fired on the spot, either one is working out for my advantage. And we can all look back, I'm sure, at negative things that happened to us. Then now we're like, oh, I'm so glad that happened. I'm so happy that that relationship didn't work out, or that that job didn't work out, or that I ended up moving even though I didn't want to. All those things seem to happen in a positive direction. And when we really learn to trust that inner voice, that inner compass, that like yes, no, red light, green light vibe, then that's when the magic really happens. It's even trusting when we feel that crazy intuition that says to do something that we're really thinking, what? Like, why would I do that? Why would I quit my job? Why would I break up with my boyfriend? Why would I move states? Why would I move across the country? Why would I apply for that promotion when it's not even really my field? You know what I mean? Like all those kind of like crazy ideas are when the best things happen, because that's coming from spirit. So I feel like for you guys, if there's something you have really been overthinking about, letting your wheels spin, going back and forth about it, you're really going to learn to release and let go. And actually, that's when the magic happens. You may even be mourning an ending for some of you guys with this Five of Cups. There may be something that, yeah, it doesn't feel happy for you to leave this in the past, but I can see a beautiful new ending coming through at the end with the Sun card. So you may have a new perspective. And if there's been something in which you've been really stuck, or you felt like there was no forward momentum and you felt really stuck in a certain situation, like there was no way out and you just had to tolerate it, that may also be being released. So the stagnancy, the pause, the ending, that may really start to come to an end, and you may get some very positive momentum that allows you to really have a fresh start, or to get some energy flowing in this area. But I do feel like whatever situation has made you feel stuck or stagnant or stressed out to the max, and you have been wanting a change or wanting a movement forward, you are going to get that. And it is going to budge, it is going to change. And I think you are going to be really, really happy with the fact that you're no longer kind of stuck in this like purgatory holding cell. So let's get into some more cards for pile number 3. So we want to know what is changing in pile number 3's life, Spirit. What is changing in pile number 3's life? Okay, we got 2 cards, trust and family. What is changing in pile number 3's life? Strength. I'm going to move that down there. And what is changing in pile number 3's life, Spirit? Protection. What is changing in pile number 3's life? Fertility. Yeah, so this could have to do with family planning or starting a family. If there's something that you have really wanted with that, we got the fertility card, we got the family card. So for some of you guys, if this has been a pregnancy you've wanted for a really long time, or having a baby, there could be that forward momentum and finally getting that pregnancy, or, seeing that come to fruition in some way. So yeah, there could be a lot of positive momentum because, again, keep in mind your final card was the Sun. So for some of you guys, this could be a beautiful wish, dream, something you've wanted for the longest time finally coming true and finally happening. I almost feel like this is about you, again, a lot of you guys in this pile, getting your head screwed on straight and learning to take the reins of your mind and learning that it's not going to do you any good. It's not going to make anything more positive to worry about a situation. So you may as well be positive about it. And honestly, that's why I love Abraham Hicks has a great speech or session she did about who cares, and she goes through like this kind of practice of saying who cares to everything. So it starts with like, honey, I'm happy with something, like some person talking to their spouse and saying they're unhappy about something, and then her responding, who cares? And then the person being like, what do you mean you don't care? I want a divorce. And her saying, who cares? And following that through to like literally all of the logical outcomes. And it's kind of shocking, but it's supposed to be shocking. And I think it's because also our society, for some reason, kind of really demands a lot of like performative empathy from people. Like you're not allowed to say, oh, who cares? If someone says someone's homeless or, someone's going through like a horrible thing, you're not allowed to say, oh, who cares? That doesn't affect me. And people would be really shocked if you said that. If they said, oh, this current event is happening and it's a big tragedy, and you said, who cares? People would be like outraged. But when you really think about it, what good is it doing? The fact that constantly throughout the day we are exposed to like this news cycle, and we constantly have to read these really depressing news stories about like horrible things happening in the world, and we can't do anything to change it, right? Like unless you're like a billionaire, most of us really don't have that much power. And it's exhausting, right? Like it's not just one bad thing. It's like we have to read through news pages with like 50 million bad things happening. And it can be really demoralizing. And sometimes we think, well, I need to be empathetic. I need to be that good person. But actually, it may be more helpful. Like instead of getting really sad that you're walking past a homeless encampment, it might be much more positive and actually better for you to be very in that positive mindset and kind of have that who cares manifestation ritual that Abraham Hicks was talking about, in order to manifest money and success, and then actually donating a lot of that money to a homeless shelter. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying we should be callous or cruel, but I think sometimes we need to give ourselves the freedom to step away from any negativity. Like sometimes we really think, well, but if I focus on the positive, or if I stop paying attention to this negative stuff, then I'm being really callous and cruel, or I'm not doing the right thing, or I need to worry. We really think of worry as like somehow productive, or negative feeling as productive. Like I said, for some reason, if you were to say, oh, well, people in this part of the world are going through this, you are expected to be like, oh my gosh, that is so sad. That's awful, blah, blah, blah. Which is kind of funny, like the more you think about it. Like I'm not saying we shouldn't have empathy, but it's like, what does it matter? You know what I mean? Like unless you're actually affecting change, unless you're working to do something, it's probably not going to make a huge difference that you were like sad about it for 5 seconds during a conversation, or you said, oh yeah, that's so sad. But that's what is expected. And if you say that, you get the approval. And if you say, yeah, it doesn't really affect me, so anyway, I don't care. I mean, people would be shocked. People would be shocked. And the more you think about it, the more you realize, yeah, you're right. It's not really doing much. It doesn't really help anything or change anything, but we never give ourselves permission to feel that way. And I honestly think a major key in manifesting is starting to have that attitude of like focusing on the stuff that we're trying to bring in and not allowing anything negative to even enter our thought realm, not allowing ourselves to pay attention or to give our energy away to negative stuff. Like I think so much of the time, maybe someone's trying to manifest a really great relationship, but all they watch or see are like TikToks of women talking about like, my boyfriend cheated on me, and they obsess over, oh my God, but like do all men cheat, blah, blah, blah. And it's like then they're trying to manifest a good relationship, but this is on their mind in the back of their consciousness. And it's not to say you should be an idiot. Or maybe they have, they want to manifest more money, but they constantly are worrying about their bank account and all these bills and how am I going to pay for that? And then they wonder, well, why hasn't my vision board come true? And it's like, because that's in your thought process, that's in your consciousness at the forefront. So I feel like whatever this is for you guys, pile number 3, you are really learning to transform how you view things, how you look at things. You're no longer going to be thinking of things through this lens of the negative or what could go wrong, and you're allowing things to be whatever they're going to be in your life. So kind of trusting that process and understanding that you are strong enough, you are protected enough. No matter what happens, you are going to be perfectly okay. Pile number 3. So with that being said, you can welcome in every experience knowing it's happening for your greatest and highest good, and that it is transforming you, changing you, leading you through to a beautiful, better future. So let me get into these cards for pile number 3. We want to know what is changing for pile number 3. What is changing? Ooh, carrying connections. Love that card. Okay, the action card just flew out. We got 2 cards. This one says deceit. And this one says door to spirit. And let's get one more card. Financial constraints. Yeah, that could definitely be something that is affecting your financial situation if you do have a negative mindset, you know, and sometimes it can be hard to get our mind on track and to remember to continue to think positive and to continue to remember how powerful our energy is, and that we can't, it may seem harmless that like, yeah, I know I did spend a little while today worrying about my finances, but like, whatever, it's not a big deal. And obviously, like all the things we do, all the things we think, every little action we take does affect things. So we really should take that seriously and be careful and cautious with where we allow our mind to go. I also feel like for some of you guys, this could be even willing to take a little bit more risk, like no longer feeling like, sometimes I think we think, like, let me stay in the safety zone and not even entertain this idea. Or it's almost like that person who's trying to get more money. So they just decide to pinch every penny and like save, and they, buy the really generic, cheap stuff at the store, and they might not even be saving that much money, right? And if they had a positive attitude towards money, thinking that every dollar I spend comes back to me eightfold or whatever, and if they were willing to take a little bit more of that risk and they were willing to kind of trust the process a bit more, they actually might end up making so much more money than they ever could if they're just pinching pennies and saving 15 cents here and there. So sometimes, again, we kind of think, let me stay in the safety zone. It could even be with like relationships, with this carrying connections card. Like sometimes maybe you kind of want to date, but then, you start getting really overthinking about, what if this person does that on the first date? And what if they ask me this? And I'm not going to tolerate that. And sometimes that attitude and mindset can be such a powerful block. And I think a big part of it is realizing that a lot of the things that happen in life probably doesn't even have anything to do with you. It has to do more with that person's energy. So with that being said, you don't even need to take it that personally. Yeah, someone may be rude to you on a date. And so what? You have the same worth, the same value, the same perfection that you ever did before. So why even stress out? Yeah, if a guy is disrespectful, that sucks and it's really annoying to have to deal with. But at the same time, you are still the beautiful, perfect angel you were before. So who cares? Let him be disrespectful. You shouldn't let the fear of that hold you back from your own life and your own experiences and the joy and the exciting, passionate life you want to lead. So if there's something you want to bring in, or there's something that you're trying to manifest, but you're almost like afraid of like, what if that happens? What if that goes wrong? What if that person says no? It's like, and so what if they do? And I think it's being willing to be bold enough to take that risk and let the chips fall where they may. Let's get some tarot cards for you. Pile number 3. So we got the Moon card, the 10 of Wands. Okay, you guys got the 10 of Wands twice. So we're definitely overthinking in this pile, maybe even taking on too much work, too much of a workload. We also got the Nine of Wands. So yeah, and I honestly think a lot of that upper wands deck is all about kind of what happens when we do have that fear mindset, because there is so much conflict within the wands that by the time we reach the 9 and 10 of wands, it's almost like someone who has like PTSD and they've just been fighting for so long that they can't relax. And maybe that's been the case for some of you guys. Maybe you've been through a lot and now you have this scarcity mindset or this idea that I have to keep hustling. I can't take a break. I can't rest. I can't pause. And I really feel like this is about change happening for you, where maybe you also allow your nervous system to rest. Maybe you just allow yourself to sleep more, take a break more, relax more. Maybe you learn to trust your intuition more with the moon card coming out. The hermit can also be about stepping away from like societal expectations or what other people think from us, and to really accept that process that like endings are necessary in life, change, redirection is necessary. We did get the death card. So combined with like the 5 of cups and a lot of those cards we got initially, I really do feel like for some of you guys, this could be a major change, like ending in a career or ending in a relationship. If there's anything you felt like you've been really holding on to and it almost like wants to leave your life, but you keep holding tightly and hoping it's not going to change, I feel like this is your message to release and let it go. And like I said, let the chips fall where they may. I keep hearing this line from this She and Him song. I thought I saw your face today. I love that song. But there's a line about like, and play it as it lays, which is also a book by Joan Didion. And then I Googled like, what does play it as it lays mean? And basically what it means is accepting things as they are and playing it as it is. So like, instead of, it's almost like you could imagine someone getting a violin or something and maybe it's kind of beat up or it's kind of like old, or maybe it's super new, because I know violins age in a good way. Like the most expensive violins in the world are like hundreds of years old and they cost like millions of dollars because they're like aged in the right way. But whatever a bad violin is, you could imagine like a beat up, nasty looking violin. There's not much you can do about that, right? Like you just kind of have to accept it as it is. You're not going to be able to magically age it or de-age it or patch up all the like little gashes into the wood or anything like that. You just kind of got to tune it and accept it, and maybe you're going to be able to make the most beautiful music regardless, even if it is on like a beat up old violin. But there's really no point in worrying about it. And that's what the phrase play it as it lays means, is accepting what life gives you and just kind of like moving forward with it no matter what. And so I do feel like for you, the message is, how can you accept your situation? How can you stop being resistant or pushing against it and accept whatever change wants to come in, accept whatever your body and your intuition and your heart is telling you, and moving away from really cleaving or clinging to these expectations you have of yourself or others have of you, and being willing to stand alone in your truth and knowing that if there's something that's ready to leave your life, then the best thing you can do is let it go. And if it is meant for you, it will absolutely come back. Let me also get into this deck for some messages for you. Pile number 3. So we want to get some final messages for pile number 3. So we got impasse, reflect and redirect your energy. Crossing bridges, it's time for healing, connecting, mending, and releasing. And let's get a couple more. So we got first light, beginning a new cycle, and watching clouds, lie back, rest, and relax. And that's really what it is like once you realize that The universe has its own magical plan. And like I said, everything is working out for our greatest and highest good. It's not working against us, it's working for us. Then we won't have to feel the need to give into stress and anxiety and let our mind run away from us. We will instead accept and just go with the flow. Allow the universe to take us where we want it, where it wants to take us. Keeping in mind that we signed up for a lot of different lessons on the other side. You know, when we were writing our Akashic records for this lifetime and we were figuring out what we wanted to do, what we wanted to learn, what we wanted to go through, we signed up for certain life experiences. And so even the most negative experience may be something we signed up for on the other side. Like, I've heard of stories of people, and maybe they'll sign up for like a wellness retreat, you know, that's like where you hike mountains in Malibu or something like that. And maybe when they actually show up, then the diet can be really restrictive. Like maybe they're fasting for health reasons for the course, or maybe they have, you know, a small amount of nuts they can eat for breakfast and it's like very small. Or maybe, you know, I've seen yoga retreats in like, or silent retreats in like Bali where you're not allowed to talk. And you can imagine that probably, you know, when you're halfway through one of those retreats, you'd probably feel like you were like, why did I sign up for this? I know I signed up to have a totally silent retreat and not make noise, but that was 6 months ago when I was like a little drunk on a couple glasses of wine and I was sitting in my comfy living room watching Netflix, and it seemed like a really good idea. But now that I'm actually here in Bali and there's no AC and I'm having to meditate for half the day and I'm not allowed to really like talk to anyone, and maybe I don't even like the food because it's really healthy, organic, and I want my Cheetos and my wine back. You know, you could imagine that you would be like, oh, why did I decide this? But you signed up for that program. You decided to take that to learn those lessons, and that's the same thing. Even the things that may seem negative for us now as humans, keep in mind we may have signed up because that is a super important and valuable life lesson we needed to tick off. So I feel like for you guys, again, if you are at an impasse, if there is something that is ready to leave your life and the energy just isn't flowing anymore, it's okay to say goodbye to that. It's okay to allow yourself to enter into a new cycle and to trust that process and to trust the energy of transition. Trust that what is unfolding it for you is happening for you. It's not happening against you, to you. It's not happening because the universe wants to hurt you. It's happening because the universe has faith in your ability to manage this and has something so much better for you in store. So there's no need to worry. There's no need to stress out. Pile number 3, trust this beautiful process because you guys are alchemizing, you're improving yourself, you're transforming in such a beautiful way. And you're going to be so grateful for this further down the road. So that is the message I have for you. Pile number 3. I really hope that resonates, guys. If it does, let me know down in the comments. I always love hearing from you, hearing your thoughts, stories, and insights. So let me know what you think. Also, make sure to give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button, subscribe. And if you want to see more of my content, head on over to my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. I just posted a reading all about your biggest regrets when you die. So it actually ended up being really uplifting, super deep, one of my favorite readings, but there's so much content over there to choose from. I just posted one all about what you're manifesting, as well as how to improve your love life and get a boyfriend. And before that, one about your career, a money reading, lots of love readings. There is so much content to choose from, over 80 exclusive readings, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos, so they always get posted over there first. So if all that sounds good to you and you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you are interested in getting a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. You can sign up for a half-hour session or a full hour-long session. You can have it pre-recorded. You can get it live, one-on-one. So you really get to decide how it goes, what we get into, how your session is, and how it unfolds. If all that sounds good to you and you're interested in signing up, like I said, head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile number 4, welcome to your reading. So if you guys picked this Lost Compass card, this is going to be your reading. So let's get into your other tarot as well. You guys also got the Two of Cups, the Three of Cups, the Chariot, and the Two of Pentacles. So there could definitely be a beautiful new partnership coming into your life. For some of you guys, this could be a soulmate. This could be a beautiful romantic partner that you really see eye to eye with. And what I love about this could also be someone that you really have fun with, enjoy spending time with, almost have that friend relationship. It could totally be a new friendship, and it could even be a new business relationship with this Two of Pentacles. So like a new coworker or someone you could collaborate with or work with, a new client. But I do feel like there's almost like a social vibe around you. It definitely could be romantic for a lot of you guys. This could be a partnership that would be a beautiful love relationship. But what is coming through is you guys are going to have so much common, and I'm feeling like you really love to laugh together. Like you guys could just laugh about anything. There's this beautiful quote by Vladimir Nabokov that's basically paraphrasing because I can't remember exactly his beautiful phrasing, but he said, you know, there's certain relationships or friendships you have that even though you may have only known each other for a matter of months or weeks or days, but it feels like you've known each other for years or forever or for an eternity. And obviously a lot of people have said that, but Nabokov has a quote about it that's so pretty. So definitely Google it if you're into good quotes. There's a great one. And I do feel like for you guys, this is one of those connections where it's almost like two very like-minded people who just see so eye to eye and get along so well and just can have a blast together, laugh together, go out together. This could even be like finding a friend group, finding your people, you know what I mean? Even like finding a community or a hobby or something you really enjoy doing that maybe, you know, you didn't think you were going to find anyone who was also into like frogs and is obsessed with frogs. And then you meet this person and they love to talk about frogs with you, and they have a pet frog and you have a pet frog and you go for pet frog meetups. You know what I mean? Maybe something that no one else really gets, or maybe you decide to sign up for like a bird watching group and then you find a really good friend within that group. But I do feel like this is going to give you a lot more opportunity to laugh, to lighten up, to maybe have, like I said, just more fun in life. This could also be you guys going after a goal and getting a lot of forward momentum with that. We do have the Chariot card, which is such a card of achieving your dreams, going after something, making something happen, and really achieving it. Really not taking the back seat or, you know, just allowing energy to happen to us, but actually taking control of that energy and making sure that we are headed in the direction we want. We are not allowing fate to like shift our path. We are deciding on the path that feels the best to us. And also the Chariot is ruled by Cancer in astrology, so it can, or in tarot, so it can mean using our emotions to go after what we want and really feeding into the power of emotions. I almost feel like for some of you guys, this could be about looking more after your emotional side and almost like going out and having more fun or spending time with friends, with loved ones, with family members, whatever, and that kind of paying off for you financially or in your career or in other goals you have. So it almost might be like more balance in your life, and the Two of Pentacles can definitely talk about that. But like where maybe sometimes we think, well, I really want this promotion at work, so I'm just going to work every day as hard as I can for like 12 hours a day, and I'm just going to go into the office at 6 a.m. and I'm not going to leave until 6 p.m. or maybe 10 p.m. And how that can kind of like actually sometimes prevent us from our goals. Like I do think there is a time and a place for like pedal to the metal, let's go, let me push as hard as I can. That energy can be really successful and beautiful in its own way. But by the same token, sometimes when we overwork ourselves, when we push ourselves to the bone so that we have nothing left to give, then sometimes that energy bleeds through and whatever we were trying to accomplish actually ends up getting stalled or doesn't happen because we have no energy left. We have nothing to give. And it's like pulling from an empty well. Like there's just nothing there, you know? And sometimes when we actually are much more balanced, and instead of staying in the office until we are about to go to sleep at our desk, it's going home at a reasonable hour, getting a full night's rest, making sure we are eating a healthy dinner, making sure that we maybe quickly have time to call a friend before we go to bed, or we get to see our spouse or boyfriend or partner or whoever. It's making sure that there's balance. It's making sure that we feel good and our life has things to bring back and restore our energy. So it's not just this constant energy output, pouring ourselves into some kind of objective, but it's also, let me make sure I feel good. Let me make sure I'm looking after myself. Let me make sure that I've had the time to spend with my loved ones and check in with them and enjoy being around them, instead of I'm just pushing myself so hard. I feel like for you guys, this could even be something like making more balance, where maybe you would love to start a workout routine, but you think you're too busy. And now you decide that you are going to go ahead and invest in yourself that way. Or maybe every night you're in such a rush that you end up just throwing together whatever dinner you can buy at your convenience store and just eating something really unhealthy. And this is like, I'm going to go home early and I'm going to cook myself that healthy, delicious meal. Or maybe in the opposite direction, you've been so stressed out about like food and making sure you're healthy and what you eat. And this is like allowing yourself to have that balance of like, yeah, I'm going to get the cheese board at the restaurant because I love cheese, and I'm going to get the glass of wine, and I'm going to like, I know I have been working out every single day, but I'm going to give my body that rest, and I'm going to give it a break, and I'm going to, lay in bed this Sunday and just like watch Netflix and just chill. I really think in general in life, balance is so important. We don't want to go too far in either direction. So yeah, I feel like for you guys, this is about making sure that your emotions, your emotional side, and other goals and things you have going on, making sure that isn't too out of whack. You know what I mean? Making sure that you look after that and value that emotional side and the kind of like softer side of yourself just as much as you are valuing your goals and the things you are trying to achieve. Also, because the Chariot is ruled by Cancer, which is of course related to the moon in the 4th house of family, this could definitely be about spending more time with family, or this could be a kind of romantic connection that leads to a family, leads to marriage or kids, or just spending more time with your birth family as well. So let's get into some more cards for pile number, let me move these out of the way first. And then we can shuffle more cards for pile number 4. So we want to know what kind of changes are happening for pile number 4. Ooh, we got beauty. So you guys are going to be looking really good as well. You may be attracting more people because of that. And we also got commitment. So again, that really heavy relationship energy that's around you guys. Maybe this could be meeting someone. This could be really hitting it off with someone and feeling that instant depth of connection, not necessarily that like awkward stage where you're getting to know each other, but maybe it's something that just gets really deep really quick and you feel like you know them, super well. And also it could be investing into yourself when it comes to your appearance. So maybe like spending more money on getting the makeup you want, or refreshing your wardrobe, or going to a really cute hair salon and getting the kind of haircut you want. But I feel like for a lot of you guys, it's almost like the more you pour into yourself, or the more you treat yourself with that love and dignity and kind of give yourself that permission to be soft, to be easy, not feeling like you have to drive yourself into the ground, I feel like that really pays off and you start attracting more people or more things into your life as a result. So yeah, in a weird way, I know it can feel counterintuitive, like, wait, you're telling me that if I take a break from work, I'm going to get promoted? Or you're telling me that the less I work out, the better I'm going to look? How does that make sense? But sometimes that's what happens. And I do feel like it's almost like the gentler you can be with yourself, pile number 4, the more it's going to pay off. So yeah, especially if you have been doing that kind of soft vibe, or you've been going easy on yourself, or you have been pampering yourself, that really may show on the outside, and people may be noticing like, wow, pile number 4 looks really, really good. Like they've been taking care of themselves. They look well rested. And it could even be like having more fun in your life, because the 3 of Cups is also about going out. It can be a card that is about like drinking, going out with friends, having fun, socializing. So making sure that you're taking the time to do that, taking the time to see people in your life that are important to you, is also going to be really important. Let's get some more cards for pile number 4. Life purpose. Okay. I'm also seeing someone read. So this could be just about more leisure time. Oh, too many cards. This could be about more leisure time in general, like spending time reading your favorite book, or watching a good show on Netflix, or whatever. It doesn't have to be on Netflix. I don't know why I keep mentioning them. But watching like a good TV show or a good movie, or kind of like allowing yourself to really fall into that, or I don't know, becoming a part of a fandom of something. You know what I mean? Like letting yourself to like give into the pleasures or the things that you really enjoy, I feel like is an energy that's coming through very strongly for you, pile number 4. So we also got reconciliation, good luck, lighten your load, and life purpose. So I also am getting, for some of you guys, I know this is going to be controversial because sometimes you guys hate hearing this message, but this could be an ex coming back. And I almost feel like this could be the energy of not overthinking it on your part, or not having so many walls up. And again, if you are like, no, I have a firm boundary with this person, like they treated me like garbage, absolutely, like definitely listen to that. I'm not saying you should take back someone that cheated on you or treated you horribly. But I think sometimes we also have this idea of like, I have to be so strong, or I have to be so tough. And sometimes we may feel really called to something. It may feel really good to us, but because we're so afraid of what others would say, or we're so afraid of the expectations that other people place on us, or what they think, that we end up like not stepping forward into that thing we really, really want. So it could even be like, this feels good to me, even though it doesn't make sense to anyone else around me. So like I said, maybe an ex coming back that we said, I'll never talk to them again. But it truly feels good, and it feels in alignment with our soul. It feels like, yeah, this is what I want for this moment. And that doesn't necessarily mean it has to last forever, but maybe there's something there for you to either learn from, or maybe you guys are meant to get back together. I think it's really important though to listen to our heart, what our soul is telling us, not what society expects of us, or what our friends think we should do, or what this person says for us. Sometimes it is being willing to step into that, like, yeah, I did it, and maybe it wasn't the best decision, but you know what? It felt good to me. I wanted it, and so I did it, you know? And sometimes that's good enough. It's almost like we are so expected nowadays to think through every decision, right? And to have like a list 20 reasons long before we did something. I think we can also struggle with shame whenever something doesn't work out, like when someone says, oh yeah, my boyfriend treated me badly, or this happened. It's almost like you'll get a lot of judgment for that. Like, well, why didn't you know? Or, well, you should have known, or you should have seen this red flag. And it's like, yeah, that's true. But we're expected on one hand to be like super open to love, super open to experiences, but also constantly on guard. You know what I mean? It's kind of messed up. Like it's kind of this catch-22, I think, especially for women, where we are always expected to see the red flags, but also we should be energetically open. We can't be closed off. It's a really hard balance. So at the end of the day, you might as well just stop worrying about what anyone else has to say or thinks about it, and literally just do what you want to do, what feels good to you. And if someone doesn't like it, too bad. It's not their life to live anyway. And what we need to focus on is making sure we're living as happy of a life as possible and allowing the magic to flow for us. And that may look very different for us than it looked for our friend, for someone else. No one can really give us that advice. That's why we have to listen to what our soul is saying, to what spirit is saying. And if it doesn't work, at least then we made the decision up for our own mind instead of going off what we think others are going to say or what will get us approval from others in our life. Let's get into some of these cards for pile number 4. What cards do we have for pile 4? So we got blossoming abundance, okay? And let's see what else we're going to get. Angel of love. Wow, there's a lot of love energy in this reading. And we got door to value. Okay, I think we know who got the, like, you know how every time you pick a card, even though you're not supposed to think that way, but deep down inside you're like, oh, I hope I get the good one. I hope they tell me that I'm gonna like win the lottery and fall in love with like the most gorgeous guy. And of course that like hardly ever happens, but it happened for you today, pile 4, because this is so positive. You guys have so many positive cards. We got a lot of really good financial cards and relationship cards. There's a lot of love energy around you as well as financial success energy. So we did get the blossoming abundance card, door to value card, an angel of love card, Raphael. We also got the action card. And yeah, I feel like, and also Raphael rules the heart chakra, so another love energy. So this could be even healing your approach to love. Like I almost feel like this is about letting guards down, letting people in more. Again, not assuming the worst or not allowing negative vibes from others to get inside your head, not allowing negative expectations. Like someone else may be able to give you wisdom for what happened for their life. Like maybe they did get cheated on, or maybe they did have a horrible relationship, and it's not to invalidate them or whatever their lived experience is. And it's also not to say go into situations blindly and be stupid. You know, I mean, I worked in family law, so I've seen people make really stupid decisions in relationships. And of course, I would definitely advise against just going carte blanche into a situation and not protecting yourself. But at the same time, again, your intuition should be, you should be listening to your intuition with that anyway. And you probably have an inkling when you go into that situation, or you agree to get married with like a prenup that completely screws you over. You know that doesn't feel in alignment, right? So for you guys, I really feel like this is like trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, listening to that above what others have to say or what others think of you, realizing that it's not their life, this is your life. So yeah, I think in a way, it's almost like the more you can trust and the more you can allow the situations to be what they are, I think this could also be about like going out more, having fun, maybe going out and drinking, dancing, enjoying. Of course, you want to be safe. That can be vulnerable or dangerous if you're not, you know, careful. But I also feel like this is about just in general, like almost loosening up the reins and not holding so tightly to things, not putting as much pressure on yourself, and just kind of like allowing things to flow and then seeing how that pays off. Like it's almost like with all these financial cards too, I've heard of a lot of stories of people that like they meet their business partner out going to nightclubs in New York City, or they meet their soulmate and they weren't looking and they were just like dancing on a table at a bar, and then they meet their husband, you know what I mean? Or they end up meeting, yeah, their future boss, and they grab drinks at a bar and they're sitting next to each other and the person says, come work for me. You know what I mean? Like you never know. And unless you let the universe make that magic happen, unless you're willing to open up a little bit, like you're going to block those opportunities. Let's get into some of these cards for pile number 4. We want to get more tarot. So we got the World. This could be traveling more as well for some of you guys. If you've been considering travel, this could definitely be traveling a little bit more. Let's see what else we're going to get. The Page of Pentacles, okay. And the Eight of Cups. I'm also hearing a message for some of you guys that this is about communicating more of what you want. And almost like the more you communicate, or the more honest you are, or the more you kind of don't care. Like I think so much of the time when we are afraid to communicate what we want, it's because we're afraid the person's going to say no. It's because we're afraid they're going to leave us, or they're going to be like, absolutely not. And how dare you ask? And so we just hold it inside. We're so terrified that they're going to say no that we don't ask at all, not realizing that's going to be a no regardless. regardless. Like if we don't ask and it doesn't happen, that's still a no. So we might as well just ask. And yeah, the worst they can say is like no, or maybe even get mad at us and say F you, but then that's probably not someone you'd want to be around anyway. And the more we can get into the practice of just saying what we want, just being like, this is what I want, can you make it happen? That allows people to either meet our needs and help us with our desires or to not. And then if it's a not, then maybe we can choose to have them in our life or to leave them. But I feel like this is about you getting more comfortable with asking for what you want, for saying your feelings, for knowing your emotional needs and desires, and being a little bit selfish in a good way. Let me get 2 more cards. Okay, we just got the Ace of Cups. I love that. Again, a beautiful new relationship. And what was this? The Knight of Wands. Yes, this could definitely be like a fun, flirty new relationship, especially with someone really attractive with the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is generally someone who, you know, is very flirty, is kind of sexy, usually good looking, usually someone that is quite attractive, and very charismatic. Usually there's someone who's flirty, who's good with their words, who is fun and exciting to be around. That could even be you. The energy you're entering into is like this powerhouse, charismatic, dynamic person. So yeah, I feel like however you take this, however this resonates for you, the overarching message is to really, like I said, trust this process and don't be thinking that if you hold yourself back or keep yourself in the safety zone, that things are going to magically work out. It's kind of being willing to step into that unknown, and that's where the magic happens. And allowing yourself to go after your desires, ask for what you want, and push forward into the kind of life that feels good to you. Let me get into some of these cards for pile number 1. We want to get messages for pile number 4, excuse me, pile 4, not 1, about what changes are happening for them. So we just got Mystic Healer. Healing energy flows through you. Uncovering treasure. Beneath the surface lies great bounty. Protected by angels. And let's get Voyage of the Heart. And let me get one more for you guys. Valiant Courage. Taking action with pleasure. So the messages are: love flows through you and to you. You are cherished by the angels. Healing energy flows through you. And beneath the surface lies great treasure, or lies great bounty. So yeah, I feel like the overarching message for you, pile number 4, is that in the future, what's changing is you are not going to be afraid anymore. You are not going to allow any fears or any resistance to hold you back. You're going to really step towards exactly what you want. You're going to go for the things that resonate with you, the things that call to you, the things that feel good to you, and you're not going to be wishy-washy about asking for it or going for it. Or if there's something that's resonating with you as like, oh, that would be awesome, like I really want to date that guy, but I don't know if I should because my friend said she doesn't like him and blah, 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 and she dated someone like him and he treated her bad. It's like, well, maybe that wasn't right for her, but it could be amazing for you. And if it feels good to you, it resonates as a green light. Because I always think that's how spirit like resonates with me, is like it's either green light go or red light no. It's usually, for some reason with spirit, I feel like we don't always in our own life get a ton of like reasons why. Like spirit isn't sitting down and explaining like, yeah, so it's a no because blah, blah, blah. It's just either a no and you get anxiety and you feel weird about the situation, or it's a yes. It's a go ahead. So it's kind of like red light, green light. Like there's not as much in between. A lot of times we want some long explanation and all these reasons, but keep in mind, like intuition is Pisces. And then logic and reason is Virgo. They oppose each other on the astrological wheel. Not to get too much into that, but my point is, when we're leading with intuition, it's not going to make a whole lot of sense. That's why Mercury is debilitated in Pisces. It's not the best sign at like explaining itself or giving you a list of pros and cons or going down with 8 reasons and, you know, a PowerPoint display of why. It's just a feeling of yes or no. So if your feeling is directing you towards yes, 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 then listen to that. And don't allow your mind to run away with all the other reasons or all the logic. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying you shouldn't be smart or protect yourself or think critically about things. Of course, always protect yourself and look out after yourself. But sometimes it's about trust in that process, trust in the universe, and flowing and allowing things to flow for us. So that is what I have for you. Pile number 4, I really hope it resonates. If it does, let me know down in the comments. I always love hearing from you, hearing your thoughts, stories, and everything you have to share with me. So please let me know. Also, make sure to give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button, and subscribe. And if you want to see more of my content, head on over to my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. I just posted one all about this was a very deep one, but it is your biggest regrets when you die. This was actually one of the top voted ones in the poll we did. So it wasn't my idea, but it ended up being super uplifting and really deep, and I actually loved it. And then before that, I posted one all about what you're manifesting, as well as how to improve your love life and get a boyfriend. And before that, I posted a career reading and a money reading and lots of love readings. But there are over 80 exclusive readings you'll only get access to when you sign up for Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So if that sounds good to you and you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments, in the description, and join me on Patreon. Also, if you would like to book a private one-on-one session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. You can either do a live session with me and have me go face-to-face with you and, talk through all the stuff live, or you can also have it be pre-recorded and have me film it in advance. You also get to choose from the times, whether you want it to be a half hour or a full hour-long session. Totally cool, and you get to really make your mind up of how your session goes. So if all that sounds good to you and you want to book with me, like I said, head to my website, briarrosetarot.com. Link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very soon in another reading. Take care, guys, and I'll see you then. Bye.